Hello and welcome to another bonus video. This will be dedicated to Saskatoon berries. This was a viewer request, and thank you for commending it. Service berries belong to the genus Amelanchier, a genus that's found all across the world. The taxonomy of the cultivated form of the species is quite unique and difficult to untangle because all the species regularly crossbreed due to them being very closely related. And every species undergoes apomixis, meaning that most of the seedlings are clones of the mother plant. This makes breeding these cultivars very difficult to do. In spite of this, several people have attempted to quantify the germplasm of the species in cultivation. In 1997, 60 botanical gardens across Canada and throughout the United States would create a list of cultivars that would be categorized in this paper, link in the description below. The ornamentals seem to be a mixture of different species, as well as hybrids of different species. In the case of ornamentals, the varieties cultivated for fruits seem to be derived from mostly Amelanchier annifolia, better known as the common Saskatoon berry. For this episode, I'll be covering the ornamental cultivars and the traits of interest, and the fruit cultivars and their traits of interest. Let's get started. The first ornamental cultivar is Altaglow, an annifolia cultivar. It was found growing wild in Red Deer Valley, Alberta, and was propagated by Mr. Griffin in the early 20s. It was then popularized by the Alberta Horticulture Research Station. It has a pyramidal or columnar habit, is hardy to zone 2, sparse numbers of fruit, good leaf color in the fall, turning red to purple, long-lived up to 40 years, and self-sterile. The next is a grandifolia hybrid called Autumn Brilliance. It was bred in the nursery of Willett Wandel in Illinois. It has a high number of flowers and good fall foliage, and is resistant to common fungal diseases that spoil the fall color. Next is Autumn Sunset. It's either an Arborea serviceberry or a grandifolia hybrid. It was found as a seedling on the University of Georgia. It is highly heat tolerant, making it ill-suited for Saskatchewan, but well-suited for other environments. Next would be Ballerina, another grandifolia hybrid. It originated from selections made by the government of the Netherlands in the 1980s. Hardy to zone 4, with good flowers and good fall foliage. Next would be Carleton, a Laveus serviceberry found in Carleton, Nova Scotia, as a wild tree. It is a small weeping tree, making it suitable for the weeping flower look. Next would be Cole, a grandifolia hybrid. It has good fall foliage, and was a selection made by the Cole Nursery of Ohio. Next would be Camulus, another Laveus serviceberry selection. It was bred by Princeton Nurseries in New Jersey. It was a hybrid made in 1972. It's a small tree with good fall foliage and flowers, hardy down to zone 4. This would be Fergie, a Stolonifera seedling found in the wild by Roy Clem of Clem Nursery in Illinois. Its claim to fame is dark purple-black fruit. Next would be Flambeau, a Laveus serviceberry, a wild plant collected in Villas County, Wisconsin. Its claim to fame is a bronze-purple spring foliage. It was introduced by Dr. E.R. Hasselkuss in the University of Wisconsin, and its cultivar may possibly be extinct. Next would be Forest Prince, another grandifolia hybrid. Has good, clean, healthy foliage, an abundant number of flowers that open over the length of the stems instead of the tip, making it more billowy looking, and decent fall foliage. Next would be Helvetia, a wild select plant found in the Swiss Alps close to the Italian border. It was found and propagated by Max Fry prior to 1980. It is dwarf with good amounts of flowers, but no significant fall color. Next would be Hollanda, It's unknown what it was bred from, but it was introduced by Hiller and Sons in Winchester, England in the early 70s. The next cultivar is called Indian, species unknown, originated in Montmorency County as a wild selection. A dual purpose both for ornamental and fruit purposes. It was propagated in the 60s by Dennis McClayson. Next would be Johnny Bell, an obovalus serviceberry, a small shrub that produces a large amount of flowers. Its claim to fame is that it's a dual-purpose cultivar producing both ornamental features and sweet fruit. Next will be Lustier, a Laveus serviceberry found by Carlton's Plants. It has good fall foliage and good flowers, hardy to zone 4. There's a lot more, but you'll be here all day if we keep on going like this. Let's go into the cultivars grown for fruit. If you want to donate to my channel, the links are below. If you want to buy my book, you can also find that link in the description box below. Most of these are of the Anifolia serviceberry or the Saskatoon berry species, unless stated otherwise. The first is Beaver Lodge, with large juicy fruit. Its traits are unknown in all other respects, as well as its history. Next would be Bluff. This cultivar was discovered as a wild plant on a farm near Buffalo Lake, Alberta. It has good purple-black fruit, with good flavor, with moderately tangy fruit. It is also productive in Saskatchewan, moderately so, and hardy to zone 2. It may have partial resistance to powdery mildew, but is susceptible to leaf blight and berry spot. Next would be Buffalo, another wild seedling found near Buffalo Lake. Both this cultivar and the prior cultivar were cultivated and propagated by Dr. Davison in the mid-70s. It is hardy to zone 2, productive in Saskatoon, and susceptible to leaf blight and berry spot. Next would be Elizabeth. It was found near Langham, Saskatchewan, and was propagated by Mr. Blushkey. It was first introduced under the name Pasture, but was later named Elizabeth. It produces good fruit, and is hardy to zone 2, and moderately productive, like the previous cultivars. Next would be Forsberg. Found in Alberta again, it was a wild plant discovered by Mr. Nixon on his farm. It was then transplanted and mass-produced in the AAFC. It has high productivity, hardy to zone 2, and more drought-tolerant than other cultivars of the same species. It ripens later than another popular cultivar called Smoky, expanding the production period. It is susceptible to leaf blight and berry spot. Next would be Gypsy. Flavor is good, but the rest of the traits are unknown. Next would be Honeywood. This was found in Parkside, Saskatchewan as a wild plant, and H.A. Porter would propagate it in 1955. Flavor is considered excellent and is highly productive, although less than smoky. It is hard to zone 2 and has some resistance to powdery mildew, and is only moderately susceptible to leaf blight and berry spot. Next would be Idaho Giant. The cultivar's history and traits are largely unknown. Moving on to the next one is J.B. Ferdy. It was found near Langham, Saskatchewan. It was propagated as a wild plant by Mr. Belushi and introduced in 1991 under the name Quaker, and was later changed to J.B. Ferdy. It is hard to zone 2, disease resistance unknown, flavor good. Next will be Killarney. It was found near Killarney, Manitoba as a wild plant, and Mr. Igler would propagate in the 1990s before it was propagated in 1994. Next would be Lee No. 3. It was a hybrid cultivar bred by Mr. Lee in 1989. It was a cross between Mr. Pembina and one of his selections. It was introduced in 1994 by Mr. Prusky of the Crop Diversification Center found in North Edmonton, Alberta. Highly intense flavor and bouquet, very fleshy and few seeds. Next would be Martin. It originated in Langham, Saskatchewan. It was a seedling of Thesion and was selected by Mr. Martin in his nursery. It is moderately susceptible to leaf blight and berry spot, but has good fruit and low suckering. This would be Moon Lake. It was found in Moon Lake, Saskatchewan, as a wild plant. It was propagated by Mr. Kren and introduced in 1974. It has partial resistance to powdery mildew and has good, mild, sweet flowers and fruit. Next would be Nelson. This was a Bradwell, Saskatchewan wild specimen. It was found as a wild plant with low to moderate productivity. It's hard to zone 2 and has some resistance to Saskatoon juniper rust and partial resistance to both leaf blight and berry spot. Next would be Northline. It was a wild plant found near Beaver Lodge, Alberta, and was propagated by J.A. Wallace and introduced in 1965. It has good flavor and even ripening ability. It's hard to zone 2 and resistant to both leaf blight and berry spot, partially so. Next would be Park Hill, a hybrid between the Stolonfera service tree and the Saskatoon berry. It came from Michigan and was introduced by Park Hill University, North Dakota. It is only hard to zone free and susceptible to powdery mildew, but has resistance, leaf blight, and berry spot to a higher degree than most other cultivars. The next cultivar is Pearson II, a seedling of Smoky selected by Mr. Pearson, introduced in 1990. It is susceptible to leaf blight and berry spot, but is highly productive in Saskatchewan. Next would be Pembina. This is a wild plant found by J.A. Wallace in Alberta. It was introduced and propagated in 1932 and has a level of flavor that stands as a standard for what a good Saskatoon berry should be. It is susceptible to elm aphid, but resistant to both leaf blight and berry spot. It has poor productivity in Saskatchewan, but it is hardy to zone 2. Next would be Regent. It's a Stolonfera serviceberry crossbred with a Saskatoon berry. It was bred by Mr. Kandrian in Regent, North Dakota. It is only hardy to zone 3, but has partial resistance to leaf blight and berry spot and Saskatoon juniper rust. The fruit is somewhat bland, however. Next would be another cultivar of interest, Smoky. It was first discovered in Alberta by W.D. Albright on his farm in 1918. In the late 1920s, Dr. W.T. McCoon would mass produce it and do extensive tests to see its suitability for Canada production. His successor, Dr. J.A. Wallace, would release it in 1956. It is the longest lived tree of this species, living up to 70 years. It's the most productive cultivar grown, making it a productive commercial cultivar within Saskatchewan, but it's also highly susceptible to leaf blight and berry spot. But this cultivar enabled commercial production of Saskatoon berries in Saskatchewan, and currently occupies 85% of the hectarage in Canada right now. Next would be Sturgeon, a wild specimen found in Sturgeon Lake, Alberta. It has good flavor with firm texture. Next would be Success. It's another Stolonfera Saskatoon berry hybrid. It was first discovered in Pennsylvania and propagated in 1868. It is not very productive in Saskatoon and hardy only to zone 3, but has high resistance to leaf blight and berry spot, but is also susceptible to powdery mildew. It is the oldest surviving cultivar grown in Canada. Next would be Thesion. It was a wild plant found in Hepburn, Saskatchewan. It was propagated in 1906 by Maria Thesion and transplanted to her farm near Debenham. Mr. Cran would then mass propagate them for introduction into general cultivation in 1976. It has partial susceptibility to leaf blight and berry spot, but is partially resistant to powdery mildew. Due to its good flavor and production, it's the second most popular cultivar of Saskatoon berry in Saskatchewan, and occupies the second largest acreage within Saskatchewan. Next is Fecian RS, a selection of Fecian chosen for its reduced suckering habit, but otherwise similar to Fecian, untested. And the last cultivar of interest would be Tim, a dual-purpose cultivar grown for both its large fruit and fall foliage. And that about covers everything. So thank you for watching.